Shechina Eloheinu. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to OneShul. My name is Rabbi Patrick, and I'm really excited to get to be here with you. I say good morning, but then again, I don't know that where you are is morning. It might be afternoon. It might already be the evening. Either way, we are in Rosh Hashanah. We are in a new Jewish year, and I'm just thrilled that you're here. We're going to take a moment to give everyone the opportunity to get onto the website. While we are an online community, we do follow the Jewish custom of being 5 minutes late. So we can give just a few more moments for everyone to get on, and then we'll go on ahead and get started. But in the meantime, I'd love for you to, in the chat room, say where you are from, or perhaps your name, if you'd like, and where you're from. If you're not in the chat room, I highly recommend you get in the chat room. It's in the bottom right-hand corner of the OneShul website. It's a little orange box. All you have to do is click on the orange box. A little thing will come up, and you can sign on either with Facebook or you can create your own username. But let us know where you're from and what your name is. And I'm going to go on ahead and include here in the chat room the Maksor, and hopefully that link will work okay. And if someone would let me know if they can hear me, let me know if that link worked, I'd really appreciate it, and we will get started momentarily. Lori in Florida. Hi, Lori. It's nice to see you. Lashana Tova, Boker Tov. Let's see, and we have Troy. Hi, Troy in Fillmore, Indiana. Welcome, Troy. And the link works too. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Lori. I appreciate it. All right. Well, in that case, if you can hear me okay, and if the link is working, we will go on ahead and get started then. So Shana Tova, everyone. Good morning, Boker Tov. My name is Rabbi Patrick, and you're here at OneShul.org. And if you're in the chat room, go on ahead and give us your name and where you're from. I'd love to see where everyone is hailing from today. We are here because it's a new year, and we are becoming new people. And this is the way life works. Life is a process of newness, of becoming new all the time, and we're in a new season. We observe this new season in the Jewish tradition with Rosh Hashanah, with the new Jewish year. And I'm honored to get to experience this with all of you here at OneShul, whether you're in this service or whether you're going to be in another service that we're having. We have an awful lot going on, including another service tonight. And whether you are in the service now or maybe you're watching the service in the archive, everybody has a different schedule. Everyone can come to things at different times. Either way, I'm glad that we have this connection together. I'm glad that we get to spend this time together in whatever way we do. We're going to be using a service booklet that was made for services that we are doing out of our office in Atlanta. I've included the link there. I'll also include the link in the archive so that you can read it from there as well. Feel free to print this out. Feel free to use it in the future with your own community. Feel free to use it as a service at home or to draw from some of these brachot, from these different blessings, to incorporate into your daily spiritual practice, whatever works best for you. So we're going to be looking at page, should have planned in advance what page it was, page 8, which says Rosh Hashanah Day Services. So let's look real quick here and see all the different people we have. We have Lori here from Florida, and we have Troy in Fillmore, Indiana. And of course, I'm Rabbi Patrick, and I'm coming from North Atlanta, Georgia. We have, I believe, a person from Finland, so that's terrific. Rochester, Needham, I'm not sure where that is. West Palm Beach, Milford, Philly. What else we got? Helsinki, maybe that's our friend from Finland. Wow, everywhere. We've got people from everywhere. It's absolutely terrific. We'll probably have more people who are going to arrive as well. So we're going to begin on page 8 with Breathing Praise. This is a poem by Ellen Dannon. And I'm going to read the whole thing for you here. Every breath is your praise, Nishmat Kol Chai Tevarech. The infant breath, quick and shallow from lungs so new to the task. The tree breath, a fluttering susurration of stomata on leaves, opening and closing. Every breath is your praise, Nishmat Kol Chai Tevarech. Dolphin breath, spider breath, jellyfish breath, laughing breaths, sobbing breaths, the oceans churning oxygen through their deeps, we filling our lungs with the molecules of generations before us and those long after we are gone. This blue, green, moving, breathing earth, every breath is your praise. Nishmat Kol Chai Tevarech. We are made of everything in the universe, when you really think about it, right? Chemically, biologically, atomically. We are made of all of the same stuff that's in the universe. When you break it down to the simplest piece of what we are, we're made of the same stuff as stars. And that's how big you are, and that's how important you are. You know, in order for us to exist biologically, for us to exist chemically, for us to exist atomically, stars and planets had to die. That's how big you are. You have a whole universe built inside of you, and that's why in this poem, when it talks about this green, blue, moving, breathing earth, every breath being praise, you are the praise. You are the universe. As Troy is saying here in the chat room, everything is alive. You are alive. The whole universe is alive, and you are the universe. We think of the universe as being this thing that's out there, right? In outer space somewhere. The universe is this abstract thing that is away from us. But we are actually part of the universe. You know, from the tips of our hair to the tips of our toes. We are part of the universe. We're made of the same stuff. We are part of that system. This system exists in part because of you. And that's a pretty cool thing. The Baruch Hu is at the bottom of page 8. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai Mevorach, Le'olam Va'ed. Bless the infinite, the blessed one. Blessed is the infinite, the blessed one, now and forever. We are not infinite biologically. We will eventually pass. But that stuffness, the things that make up us, will become part of other things. We will return to the system that we belong to. We share ourselves with that system. We share ourselves, perhaps, with God in that way. I think it's interesting that our next blessing, the Shema, became such an important part of our tradition. Because it really doesn't say anything. The Shema says, listen, Israel, or hear, Israel. Adonai Eloheinu, the Lord our God. Adonai Echad, the Lord is one. Okay. Well, so what? That's not such a big thing, right? We already kind of knew that Judaism was about monotheism. Why is that so important? Why do we need to have that reiterated all the time, over and over and over again? One. Well, part of the reason why is that Judaism came out of polytheism. Right? So this is a theological statement, right? One God as opposed to many gods. So that's true. But I think also the reason why it sort of stayed on for as long as it did, it remained as popular well past the point of being concerned about polytheism, is that it's just very open, right? There's very few words here. Let's actually count real quick. Let's see how many actual words there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, so there's 5, right? Because Adonai is said twice. So we have 5 words, right? So these 5 words, I mean, whole books have been written about Shema. 5 words. I don't know that there is anything shorter that's ever been said in liturgical history that has warranted so many sermons and so many books and so many articles as the Shema, right? It's interesting to think about. What I like about the Shema is that by being short, it's also open. It also has something to it that's meaningful. In Zen Buddhism, there's an idea called a koan. And a koan is basically it's like a poem puzzle. It's a thing you have to try to solve. And the idea is that the more you think about it, eventually you're going to come to some kind of state of clarity. Right? It's a sort of mental exercise. And I think that's what the Shema is in a certain kind of way. So let's say together, perhaps closing your eyes. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. V'ahavta, you shall love. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'kol lavavcha u'b'kol nafshecha u'b'kol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alavavecha v'shinantam levalecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha v'leitecha uvlechtecha b'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'chayu latatafot bein einecha uchtavtam amazuzot betecha uvisharecha. Ve'ahavta. How do you command someone to love? It's a pretty interesting idea, right? How do you command someone to love? That's a pretty tough thing, I think. We can certainly ask people to love. We can hope that people can love, but I don't know that you can command love. So this text is setting up a really interesting sort of idea, right? That we are commanded to love. I suspect that the commandment to love is not that simple. That it's not that just we are commanded to love. That it's not simply a you shall and therefore we will type of scenario. That it's actually more of a process of choosing. Here's what I mean by that. When I make this comment to people, they tend to take it in the wrong direction. Because it's a phrase that gets thrown around a lot. I think that we choose to love. I think that who we love is a choice. Now you can understand that maybe in certain circles when you say something like that, it can get taken the wrong way. People say, we can't choose who we love. That's not how it works. We don't choose who we love. Okay, well, in a certain kind of way, I understand what people mean by that, but I do think love is a choice. Making a commitment every day to someone, whether that's a spouse or your life partner or your child or a parent that you're taking care of, a sibling, God, that's a choice. That love is a choice. It's not an emotion. Connection is an emotion, right? A feeling of commitment is an emotion. A feeling of responsibility, a feeling of love. Those are emotions. But actual love is a verb. It's an action. It's a thing that you do. It's a commitment that you make. Not a commitment that you feel, it's a commitment that you make. I emotionally love my mother and father, my wife, the people in my life that I care about. I emotionally love them, but I also choose to love them. There is a choice element to love. And I think that that's what Ve'ahavta is about. We hope that we have loving feelings for God. At times we don't. The Bible has plenty of stories about times when people have not felt emotional love for God. But you can choose love. You can choose to love. And I think that that's what Ve'ahavta is saying. You shall love really should be translated as you shall choose to love. Because that conscious effort is really key there. That's why we start with Shema. Normally Shema is translated as Hear, O Israel. Right? But that's an Old English translation, right? That's a sort of a poetic translation. Shema does mean hear, but it really means listen. And listening is an active engagement, right? So we are actively engaging in learning about what God is, who God is, what Godness is all about. And then immediately we move into Ve'ahavta. We shall choose to love. Now that we have listened and learned what holiness is, we must choose it. That's why we go Shema, then Ve'ahavta, I believe. Let's see what people have to say here. the chat room. So this is from Troy. He says, I can see that we can choose to love someone. I can see that some are hard for us to choose to love. That's absolutely true. I agree with that completely. Well said. Yasher koach to Troy for that comment. What else do we have? And then Kalissa says, I think it's a little less easy to choose who to love, but people tend to have an easier time choosing who to love less. It's a very valuable point. Thank you for that. And George, who I desperately need to call on the phone. Thank you for posting this, George. I desperately have tried. We've tried connecting with each other so many times, it's crazy. I promise in this new year it'll finally happen. But George has to say, love's not a feeling we can lose or throw away. We need to get past the emotion to the meaning of the word. And then we have a guest here who says, love is also a sense of commitment and obligation. It's pretty terrific. Thank you for sharing your Torah with me today. We're going to take a moment with the Amidah. So the Amidah is a silent, standing prayer. A little hard to do when you're already sitting, and also when you're doing this through a computer, it's a little bit different. But what I want to do is give us a rare opportunity in Judaism, which is silence, right? Jewish community's generally not big on silence. But Amidah, this standing prayer, perhaps the standing could be something a little bit different. Perhaps we're not physically standing, although you can. I would certainly invite you to do that. Perhaps it's not standing in a physical sense. Maybe what we're going to do is we're going to stand up for something. Right? Perhaps we can take it in a metaphorical way. Perhaps what we can stand up for is the right to silence. The right to be alone in our emotions. The right to have stillness. The right to be uninterrupted. Something I do right before Shabbat and before Chagim, before holidays, usually about 45 minutes before I have to show up somewhere, before I have to go online here at OneShul, whatever the case may be, is I take a moment just to be quiet. And usually that means laying on the couch. So I have this couch, it's my favorite couch. I lay on the couch and I have this purple blanket that my mother gave me. And I take it and it's too short, which is actually kind of funny. So I can't lay it completely across me. I have to kind of get into a fetal position and cover myself with it. And I take a couple of pillows and I just lay there quietly, right, just for a little bit. And I take some deep breaths and I don't think about where I'm going to go or what I'm going to do or what it's going to be about. But I just kind of be still. And then what I do is I put on my shoes. When I was a musician, before I got into Jewish blogging, before I became a rabbi, my favorite thing was when you finally got to take a shower. So I lived in a Dodge conversion van, and we didn't always get to shower every day, but the best thing was when you got to shower, and you'd shower off, and you'd put on clean socks, and you'd put your shoes on, and you just felt like you could take on the world. So after I have my moment of silence, I put my shoes on. Even if I'm just going online here to OneShul, I put on my shoes. And I have that ritual, but that ritual is grounded by silence. So I want you to either physically or mentally stand for for silence. And you can meditate. You can find the blessings here at the bottom of page 9. There's also a better version of it on page 5. The type's a little bit better. You can read some of the meditations that are here, whatever you'd like. Let's take a moment to stand for our right to silence. Osei shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'kol Yisrael v'yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. We recognize that things aren't always perfect. And that's why at the bottom of page 10 we have our Misha Berach, our prayer for healing. I'd like you to take the opportunity to put here in the chat room someone, maybe perhaps yourself, who's in need of healing. And if you're not comfortable saying a name in a chat room or anything like that, perhaps you can just take a moment to think of that person, what they mean to you, and how much you hope for their healing of mind, body, and spirit. And so we say, Misha Berach, Avotenu, Makor Habracha Le'imotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. And let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu, Makor Habracha La'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit. And let us say, Amen. So now we end on our Aleinu. So the Aleinu that we have here is actually the Reconstructionist Aleinu. This was written by Mordecai Kaplan, who, ironically, I actually have one of his books right here. So this guy right here, Mordecai Kaplan. So this is his version of it. The melody stays the same, and it's very abbreviated. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shenatan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu, v'nachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech, malkei hamlachim, hachadosh baruch hu. And last but not least, we'll have our Kaddish. And our Kaddish can be found on page 7. So, Kaddish, Kaddish Shalem. thinking of those who we have loved, who have passed away. And so we say, Yit Gadal, V'yit Kadash, Shmei Rabbah, V'alma Divra Kurute, V'amlich Malchute, V'chayechon, Uvyomechon, Uv'chaye Dekol Bet Yisrael, Ba'agala Ubizman Kariv, V'imru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevorach, Le'alam Omer Maya. Yit Barak, V'yish Tabak, V'yit Pa'ar, V'yit Romam, V'yit Naseh. V'yit Hadar, V'yit Haleh, V'yit Halal, Shmei Dekudesha Brichu, Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata, Tushbachata V'nechamata, Da'amiran, V'alma V'imru Amen, Yehi Shlam Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mramav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, V'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, V'imru Amen. So I would like to end by saying that what we've created in this brief time together is a little bubble, right? And the problem with little bubbles is that they burst, right? We're going to log off of here. We're going to go about the rest of our day. And hopefully what we've had in this moment has had some impact for us. I know it's had impact for me. But it goes away, right? We will never have this exact same experience again. Maybe we'll have ones that are similar. Maybe we'll have the same people. Maybe it'll be a different service. Or maybe it'll be next year and we'll be doing the Rosh Hashanah early morning service again. But maybe the liturgy will be a little different. Or maybe our thoughts and feelings will be in a different place. So the bubble bursts. But the thing about a bubble is that it doesn't actually just burst. It goes back into wherever it came from, and it churns and churns until it becomes the next bubble. So what I'm hoping that we do here today is that we think about what it's going to be like when we go back to where we come from before we rise back up again into that bubble. Think about what it's going to be like when you leave here and you go about your day. What kavanot, what intentions are you going to put into your day? How are you going to think about Rosh Hashanah? And this being really the first day of the rest of your life. What are you going to put into that? What kind of person are you going to be today? What's going to matter to you? What are you going to be churning around as before we become the next bubble? And the last thing I want to leave you with is the fact that in order for experiences like this to exist, we have to support each other. And we have to do that in two ways. So the first way is with your time. And you've shown that you want to give that time. You came here. Of all of the things you could have done today, particularly for those of us for whom it's very early, right? You got up in time to come to this service, right? And some people here are service leaders. We have Chana here in the chat room. And last night we had Katsira last night who led for us. Right? And we have some Darshan Yeshiva students who are here. We have a lot of people who are really busy, who are working on their Jewish lives or helping to cultivate your Jewish life here at OneShul. We all chose to give time today. And I hope that you will choose to give time. And you can do that in a lot of ways. First of all, you can come, right? You can choose to come here instead of watching TV, right? In fact, you can just lay on the couch, put on OneShul. It's easy. You can choose that. You can choose that instead of Instagram or Facebook or whatever is your time occupying mechanism. So you can choose those things. The other thing you can do is you can choose to volunteer. We need service leaders. We need discussion group leaders. We need writers. We need graphic designers. We need web and tech people. We always need help. there is some kind of skill that you have or some interest, Jewish or not Jewish, you have something to offer this community. What you have to offer this community is you, your energy, your passion, your interests. So I hope that you will contribute some of your time and some of your passion and interests. And so what I want to encourage you to do is to send me an email. So patrick@punktorah.org. You can also contact Ariella, who is our outreach director. So Ariella at darshanyeshiva.org. So those are in the chat room there for you. Get in touch with us. Let us know what you're into. Let us know what you're passionate about, what your hobbies are. If you're into underwater basket weaving, there might be an underwater basket weaving class that is necessary here at OneShul. You never know. Don't be afraid to know how important you are. Don't be afraid to be special. Don't be afraid to think that your contribution would not be valuable, because it would be. I promise. Everybody's contribution is valuable. And so the last thing, talking about contributions, is the fact that as much as I wish OneShul and punktorah and Darshan Yeshiva could operate entirely on our hopes and dreams and our hard work, unfortunately it doesn't. We do need financial support. There is no big organization, Jewish organization up in the sky that is raining down financial benefit. It comes from the ground up. Just like human beings, we came from the ground up. That's what OneShul is. That's what punktorah is. That's what Darshan Yeshiva is. It's from the ground up. Even something like Darshan Yeshiva, where we charge a monthly subscription for classes, many of those classes and many of those programs run at a loss. We do that because we want to be a community that's open to as many people as possible. But we have to do that with your financial support. There's no other option. We have to have your financial support. $5. $5. Don't be afraid to give. Don't think that your contribution isn't enough. We get donations for $1. And you know what? The same thank you email is going to go to that person who gives $1, who gives $5, who gives $100. Because all gifts matter. And we need your support. We need your time, and we need your financial support. We have to keep the website running. We have to pay for the video streaming. We have to pay for the time to code the site, and there's issues, things we need to work on, the updates, all the different software like the chat room. That all costs money, and we need your help with that. I hope that if you are giving tzedakah during this high holiday season, that you will consider punktorah, which is the organization under which all of these different projects operate. I hope you will consider punktorah to be one of those causes that is worthy of your attention. And again, all donations help. Really, all donations help. You can donate with the PayPal button up there. You can buy a class at Darshan Yeshiva. You can donate on punktorah. There's 2 different ways to do it on there. But either way, we need your help. As much as you can. $100, $5, $1,000, doesn't matter. Whatever you think you can do. And I'll actually challenge you a step further. Whatever you think you can do, as long as it's feasible, don't go out of your way. As long as it's feasible, give double that. Give for the person who literally can't give $1. Right? Give a little extra for that person you know can't give. And if you're a person who can't give, I would challenge you to give $1. Just $1. If you literally can't give anything, give $1. Because it really does help. It means a lot to me. So I want to thank you all again for coming to this morning's service. We have some great stuff going on. I'm going to let you know about it. So we have our day 1 evening service, which also includes a virtual tashlich. I'm very interested to see how Ariella is going to do that. That'll be interesting. And then tomorrow, and that's at 8 p.m. Eastern Time tonight, and then Ariella will be closing us off for Rosh Hashanah tomorrow night. On Friday the 3rd, we have Kol Nidre, which I'm going to be leading at 2 in the afternoon. So if you are in Europe, or if you need to do something early, I would definitely consider going to that. And then to end Yom Kippur, we have Yizkor being done by Ariella, I believe. And then we have our Ne'ilah service being done by Ketzira. So Ketzira is always the opener and the closer, and the rest of us are kind of in the middle there. So we have a lot of great opportunities coming up. And then Sukkot, once we get to Sukkot, we'll have a Sukkot event as well. We have Rosh Chodesh, which will happen at the end of October. We have all of our Shabbat services. We have so many exciting things going on. And I hope that you will join us. And I hope you will contribute. And I hope you'll participate. So, Shana Tova, thank you very much for coming. And I look forward to seeing you the rest of the year here at OneShul. Take care.
Shema Yisrael. Shema Yisrael. Shema Yisrael. Shema Yisrael.